Save the Earth, be green, recycle your 3D glasses after seeing Men in Black 3 tonight, and recycle your soul. Hi guys. Well, here we are. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. How are you? How are you? How are you? Now I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop for the whole weekend. I'm going to a wedding this weekend. I'm going to witness people joining in love union for eternity, AKA I'm going to drink a little this, a little that, some of that. Whose half full cup is that? And then a little, white girl wedding dancing will take place, and then they'll ride off in the sunrise. This was a great week though, right? We had fun with Dave Hill, the one and the only, and we got to know Wyatt Cenac. Gilbert Gottfried was here. Lots of energy, lots of comic energy. Cosmic? Yeah, but comic. Did you miss it? It's no problem. It's no problem. Here's the Beth of the Week.
The sweetest book is probably I, Tina by Tina Turner, the one that the hit movie What's Love Got to Do with is based on.
What about The Notebook? That's pretty sweet. Like, as far as like sweet.
Is Ike Turner in that one?
How did the man in the moon cut his hair? Eclipse it.
The ad showed a model with a great ass and said if you wore the shoes, that ass could be yours. So I wore them for a month, showed up at the model's house, and asked her if I could have her ass now.
If you don't know even just one little thing, they automatically then think you're a bimbo. Or it's just like, oh, you're a
tough spot.
Yeah, so it's like you either have to know everything, or if you just miss one thing, if you mispronounce like, oh, it's Barney Sanders, and they're like, no, it's Bernie Sanders, you idiot.
How does the man cut his lawn? He eclipse it.
And then Ice Loves Coco came along.
Made its way into your heart.
And I was like, yeah, it's like an instructive program. Here's how you make it work. Here's how opposites attract and stay attracted.
I need to get on that.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I need.
It's the best show. If you like iced tea and cocoa, you'll love that show.
Love 'em. Are you thinking about Wings? Wings the show. Oh, but now you're thinking about Buffalo Wings. Oh, now you're thinking about BW3, Buffalo Wild Wings. And now you feel empty and sad inside, right? Sorry. What does Apple call the eclipse? The iClips.
Commenting on comments.
She's kind of pretty for a man. I like the way she talks in her mouth parts.
Can you tell us a joke?
No, I'm not getting paid for this.
Yeah.
No.
My name is Donnie, and you suck at Photoshop. And so pull your hand out of your pants and give yourself a low five. Great job. Let's say you're on a train rocketing through the Himalayas. You just escaped from a monastery where you've spent the last few years, and you're on your way home because you want to exact revenge on your wife's lover, and it's really cold, and you've been in a monastery for the last few years with a bunch of dudes, and you wanted to warm things up a little bit, but you went to open up Photoshop to get some of your warming photos, and Photoshop had thrown up all over itself because it's a new version of Photoshop, and the people who made Photoshop thought it would be really cool if they made it look like an MP3 player from 1996. And then, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Donnie, we can't afford to buy a new Photoshop every 10 minutes because we spent all of our money on our girlfriends on Friday night on fourth meal. And so, I think I agree with you. I mean, for you to spend money on a new version of Photoshop would be like buying a large Hadron Collider to do your social studies homework. So I'm going to show you a video that proves that you don't have to have the newest, greatest thing to believe that you're part of the crowd or that you can do it. And perhaps along the way we'll get inspired by the things of the past.
My name is Donnie, and You Succeed at Photoshop. You Succeed at Photoshop is brought to you in part by CompuServe. Sign up a friend and get one free hour. Byte Magazine. And Sega Dreamcast, the console of the future. Hi, welcome to another installment of You Succeed at Photoshop with me, Donnie Hoyle. I'm so glad to have you back with me again. You are getting so much better at Photoshop, and I'm very proud of you. Well, let's just get right down to it. Let's go to our good old friend, Photoshop. You know, every time I open the application up, I just think about all of the great, wonderful ways that we've expressed ourselves together. And well, let's open up a photo. Maybe you recently went on a camping trip with that new special someone that you've been spending, well, a lot of time with. And you and some very good friends from your high school days threw a bunch of tents and supplies in a camper and headed on out to do some camping together. Let's open up a photo, and I've got this great photo here, and as you can see, it's a beautiful day. The colors aren't as rich as they could be, and in fact, they're not balanced quite right. What can we do? Huh. I know what you were gonna say. Let's use the hue saturation tool. That good for you. That's, even though that's not correct, it's great that you're taking the initiative to try and come up with different ways that you can do it. But why don't you let me show you the right way to do it? Does that sound good? Okay. We're gonna actually go to Image, Adjust, Color Balance. We're gonna balance the color this way. Now, what this allows us to do is we actually have a little bit more precise control over the different types of colors in the image, and allows us to focus in on certain things. So I definitely think the sky was a lot bluer that day, you know? And so I'm down in the basement working on my Photoshop video series, m'lady. Love is a mini spring. No, you have to use press the TV video button. And tape over Quantum Leap, but don't tape over Touched by an Angel. Touched by an Angel. Lady Loveberry, I love you. I love you. Okay. Well, let's start by hitting the midtones. We'll select the midtones here, and we're going to bring up the blue, and we'll be very careful. Oh, by the way, we have to click the preview icon here so we can see what we're doing. We want to make sure we don't get too much blue in there. And okay, that's looking pretty good. And we haven't done too much here to the other colors yet. Let's go to highlights, because the sky is really a brighter part up there, and we can start to see the sky coming up. Oh, what's happening? We're getting too much blue. So let's one of the good things to note about art in life is that you always want to have your cool and warms in opposite. So if your shadows are cool, you want your highlights to be warm. That's right. And if you do it the other way around, so we've got some cool highlights with this cool blue. So let's go to our shadows and bring up a little bit of the red in there to pop some contrast. See how that brought that to life a little bit there? And we'll just now check this out. We flip the preview. Look how dull and dreary that was, and now we're getting so much brighter and livelier. And well, that's, you know, show me the money. So Donnie! I'm gonna be right up, sweetie. Sugar bumps. So let's try that with another image that might have a little bit punchier color. It's gonna be a little stronger, and see if we can do the same thing. Let's see. I've got oh, this is a good one. I've got this heading home. This was on our way back from the trip, and look at those oranges there. We really. What?
Nothing will stop us from painting this picture. Nothing will keep us from exacting our revenge.
Where are you, man? Come on! Man, where are you?
Practice your Photoshop this weekend, and dig out your white pants, and just start driving now. There's going to be traffic. Can't wait to see you next week, every day at 4 p.m. Eastern. Thursday, we treat you to Daily Grace. Don't forget the sunblock on your face.